Let's take a look at our cartoon of the week so that I get your perspective on this. All right, could we have more of it on the screen so that they can see just behind me? So that is the cartoon. It's a bridge. BBI should be a bridge, and a gentleman on the tractor and building the bridge, and this other side, presume that's State House or something. So that's our cartoon. Let me begin with you, Millie, in terms of BBI.
Well, again, as I've said, in terms, first of all, that cartoon, I do not really quite understand it. The reason why I'm not understanding it is because we are building a bridge, which is a good thing, but then also it's midway, which shows that BBI is not started. So for me, that's actually what I would interpret. So I really don't see really what it tries to portray. Okay. But I would also want to say that, one, that BBI, as we speak now, we don't know the content of BBI. We will talk about the content of BBI once we know the report is out. But secondly, I've said it, that constitutional making process is both political and legal. So the fact that we have the president and my party leader apparently seen as the persons behind it, I don't see that as a negative. Perhaps what people should be asking is, can we have more people behind it? That for me, the issue of inclusion maybe is something that we can be talking about. That if it's going to do the full course, can we have everybody, on board? Okay. That would be the issue for me.
All right.
I'm grateful that she has had the guts to say that at the end of the show, because my biggest problem with the BBI is that it's not inclusive. Its origin was secretive, agenda known to two gentlemen only. Now that, as Millie says, that constitutional amendments or constitutional making is both political and legal, we agree that this one is more driven by politics than legal. And as we agreed,
the legal is yet to come.
And as we agreed with the council, that since the big guys have said it, that it will happen, it will happen. My prayer is that devolution must be strengthened.
Okay.
That must be the trade-off. And they must let go functions which are designated for devolution. They must let go of Ministry of Health. They must let go of the roads. They have no business hiring and leasing machines for counties. Let the counties decide who should hire the machines if they need them or
what
not.
they need.
Yes.
Okay.
Let them cling on those functions.
Okay.
No, of course, the cartoon is a skeptic's view of the BBI, because you can see there are many things that have dropped in the river. But I think that the truth of the matter is that anything that enables this country to be calm, because I'm not sure, I don't always think it's peaceful, but it's calm, is a good thing. I think it would be very unfortunate if anyone was to play down the effects of the handshake. I'm one of those people who love to travel where Millie comes from. And that before March, I wouldn't have, even if, and I think just that sense that this country can operate together and that elections don't have to divide us to the point where we can no longer even operate as people. I think anything that can be done to build that should be encouraged. And I think we must affirm the president and his handshake partner in ensuring that this spirit continues. And for that reason, that is why I say, for that reason, there are certain things about BBI I would support for that reason. But I think what we must do is ensure that the fundamental problems of this country are not sacrificed on the altar of the handshake, because it can happen. The reality is that politicians naturally just look out for their own interests, and sometimes they can forget the interest of everybody else. For as long as they look out for their interests, because they will inevitably, that they also look out for the interest of the rest of the country. I think we'll all be okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. As we close, I'll give you an opportunity to summarize everything, Millie, that we have spoken about.
Well, what I can say in terms of summaries, I would actually go back to the issue of the BBI. And that when I talked about perhaps thinking about inclusion, I don't think it has been exclusive either. Why? Because we have had a team that cuts across both sides that have been going around. The inclusion comes after the report. So that if there's somebody who feels, and I know they even went up to my county, they've been all over the country, but I know that when this report comes, then people can now say, in this process, how am I included. But again, you can only be included if you want to be part of, you know, the process. You cannot be forced, because we are a country of, you know, rights. So, you know, there's only so far that people can push somebody's rights. So if you want to be part, you can be part. But if I don't want to be part, I cannot also be part.
You cannot be forced to.
Yeah, you can't be forced to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wakili.
Now that the politicians have decided that you're going for referendum, my opinion is that the BBI ought to expand and include other leaders. In this country, when you talk about inclusion, they want to see their leaders part of the team. That is the whole reason why they are even proposing that they want to expand the executive, and they're calling that inclusion. They are not saying that every tribe will be in government. They're simply saying the leaders from all communities, as much as possible, ought to be accommodated at the executive. In my view, the manner in which the BBI was set up was not inclusive. But now that they have decided that we'll go for referendum, tupende tusipende, let them expand the team behind the BBI.
Okay.
You know very well that many times the food that comes to the table depends on the ingredients that were put in the kitchen. She knows that very well. So
and the chef.
Yeah, thank you. We cannot have Honorable Raila's appointees and Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta's appointees, even to the exclusion of his own deputy, and this is part of what is causing hemorrhage in the party, giving us people, and then these people, once they have been instructed, they go to town hall meetings and say they have done public participation. In my view, that is duping us, but that's what politicians do all the time. My cry is, let there be expanded participation.
At this point, when we are waiting for the report next month, that's...
He's a man
Well,
he's a man of great faith.
Yeah, he's a man of great faith, but I think when he talks about public participation being town hall, honestly, where else would you want the participation? And this has been advertised in radios, in papers, and people have been asked to come forward. I think that is the highest form of participation you can get. So that's why I'm saying sometimes you can take a cow to the lake,
but you cannot force it
you
to
can
drink.
force it to drink.
Okay.
I think for me, my final point is that one of the problems we focused on BBI as if it was a constitutional review mechanism. The BBI was also to look at very many other issues that ail Kenya, which are not constitutional. And actually my interest in the report of the BBI is those other things. I want to know what are the legislative policy that will cure the problems we have as a country. Even as I know, I think I can almost guarantee you what the proposed constitutional amendments are going to look like. But I think the other measures, because that really is where Kenya is ailing. It's a question of values. You know, how do you ensure that we are a country that respects values, that respects the rule of law? Those are the issues that really ail Kenya. If we can have proposals that actually focus on these issues, then maybe we'll have taken a step forward from where we are.
Okay.